It is 5:30, ladies and gentlemen. Time to call the meeting to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We do have a few special activities tonight. Special activity A is to appoint Dr. Rich Harover as our medical director for the Clearcreek Township Fire District. Chief Hagenrode, would you like to make a few comments?
Sure. We've been looking for a new medical director for a few years, and we interviewed a couple doctors, and we just never found one that quite fit what we were looking for, even though we didn't necessarily know exactly what we were looking for. And when we talked to Dr. Harover, and knowing that Dr. Harover actually ran on a Clearcreek ambulance years ago with his mother, who's in attendance Phyllis, and his father, Rich, also retired as a school teacher for Springville schools, to bring someone in that's a quality emergency room physician and also so deep rooted in the community is really a win for us. And we're really excited to get him on board. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our previous medical director, Dr. Chapman, for all his years of service to the fire district. He's getting ready to retire in a few years, so this transition came at a perfect time.
I echo your sentiments. We need to make the appointment. I need a motion to appoint Dr. Rich Harover as medical director for the Clearcreek Township Fire District.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Gabbard.
Yay.
Mr. Mueller. Yay.
Now we need to do an oath of office. Doctor? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Rich Harover,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties required
and I will faithfully discharge the duties required
as the medical director of the Clearcreek Fire District,
as the medical director of the Clearcreek Fire District,
Clearcreek Township, Warren County, Ohio,
Clearcreek Township, Warren County, Ohio,
to which position I have been appointed
to which position I have been appointed,
according to the law and the best of my ability
according to the law and the best of my ability,
during my continuance in the appointment.
during my continuance in the appointment.
Same time. Thank you, Chief. There won't be a quiz.
Well, thanks.
My arm hurts when I do this. Okay, there you go.
Don't do this.
Exactly.
Try the other arm.
You must be an attorney.
A lawyer making fun of a doctor.
Really?
I can tell you this much, it's certainly not the arm he's using to write a check. As much as more.
Alligator arms there.
This has to endorse him.
Yes.
We have already approved our zoning appeals members.
Yes.
So our second duty tonight is the oath of office for Board of Zoning Appeals alternate members. Andre Tagliamonte and Clint Morton. Did I get that right? On the pronunciation of the name. I know I'm doing it right. Stand there and be quiet. I state your name.
I, Clint Morton, I, Andre Tagliamonte,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties required
and I will faithfully discharge the duties required
as the alternate member of the Board of Zoning Appeals
as the alternate member of the Board
of the Clearcreek Township,
of the Clearcreek Township,
to which office I have been appointed
to which office I have been appointed,
according to the law and the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. My arm hurts here.
My pleasure.
My arm hurts here.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
No.
Don't yell if you're
No
doing
love for that.
Mildly music.
I'm wouldn't go with my feelings if I were you. In our last special activity is a presentation of Warren County Career Center Issue 7 Bond and Levy Presentation. The floor is yours.
Thank you for an opportunity to speak. I have copies here to give to everybody to talk. So my name is Joel King, the superintendent of the Warren County Career Center. This is my second year. I'm really enjoying being the superintendent. And the board was approached last spring by the Ohio Facility Construction Commission. So if you're not familiar with that, OFCC helps schools, K-12, and career centers to be able to build new buildings, and they have a process and an assessment they go through. We had risen to the top of the list for career centers, and so they had approached the board about the possibility of doing this. So in evaluating our data, looking at our master plan, the board voted to proceed with a co-funded project. And when we looked at what we really want to accomplish with this co-funded project, the first thing was increasing our student capacity. So we have 534 spots for incoming students. Last year, for the group of students that we have right now, we had 807 applications. So when you do the math, 33%, a third, 1 in every 3 students that applied, we couldn't accept last year because we just physically don't have the space for the students to be able to be in a program. So the other piece we looked at with that is the fact that how much the county has grown and how much the county continues to grow. I know we kind of fluctuate between second and third fastest growing county in the state. And when you look, when we opened in 1976, so almost 50 years ago, there were about 85,000 people in Warren County. We're quickly approaching 250,000 people in Warren County. And so with that growth, we at the Career Center have done our best to try to keep up with that growth in the county, but certainly not near what we need to be able to have as far as the capacity piece and being able to adapt to the economic growth. The other piece we looked at is being able to add new programs. So as the region continues to attract businesses and industry to this area, we want to make sure that we're able to add the programs so that students in Warren County can attend training in Warren County, get jobs in Warren County, and live in Warren County. One of our biggest fears is that we're not able to add those programs that are needed, and they're going to end up going outside of the county to get that training. So with the co-funded project on the front, you'll notice the state is going to be providing about a quarter of the project. So they'll be providing $21,652,908. The bond portion for the district, the local taxpayer portion, would generate $67,300,000. So if you flip over on the back, it talks about the language. And I want to explain because we had some questions when we were out this fall about why a bond and a levy. So the bond piece is to generate that $67,300,000, the co-funded piece. Anytime you work with OFCC, you have to have what it's called a 1.5% maintenance fund. Easiest way to explain that is kind of an insurance policy from the state to make sure that once the facility is built, that it can be maintained and operated for at least the next 30 years without having to come back to taxpayers and ask for money. And it's not our intention to ask for any additional operating funds. There were only 3 ways we could generate that 1.5%. It was someone would have to make a donation, so about 1.2, 1.3 million for 30 years. Couldn't find anybody that was willing to make that donation. The next was we could have taken a bond out, but the board felt right now with interest rates and things the way they are that wasn't a good fiscal decision, so they looked at a permanent improvement levy. So it's one vote, but there are 2 pieces to it. Another question I get sometimes is our millage correct? Because people will say that seems rather low, that you're only asking for 0.818 mils. And the reason for that is that it takes in the valuation of the 6 districts that feed into us. So the 6 districts that feed into us are Franklin, Lebanon, Little Miami, Kings, Springboro, and Waynesville. So that's why that millage is where it's at.
You say 0.818?
0.818, yes.
It says 0.6.
But there's
And then you gotta add the 0.2.
Oh, I had
to
the
Yep.
0.2.
No, good question. So I was like, oh no, I hope I didn't we didn't mess those up. And so when you look at that total, it's $20.63 for the assessed value of a $100,000 home. And so We have a lot of plans, the biggest one being that this would produce a new secondary building. We have plenty of land to be able to build. We would try to keep it as close as we can to the existing facility to maximize our current resources. The existing facilities would then be used for adult education to be able to run during the day and at night. So right now, with the exception of 2 or 3 programs, our adult ed can only run in the evening when the high school is not in those lab spaces. And we hear more and more from businesses and from individuals that they would like to access programming during the day for childcare reasons, and then also if a company wants to reskill, upskill, it's hard for them to say to someone, work all day and then go to the career center at night from 5:30 to 9:30. So we've talked about partnerships with other organizations for that existing facility, because I know there's some concern in the community that how would you be able to operate the 2 facilities. The new building would fund itself because we receive state funding for each of the students that come to the Career Center. That existing facility, adult ed, would be able to handle the cost of that because they're a tuition-based program. They're just like a post-secondary, like a Sinclair or a Miami Regional, that type of organization. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have, and appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening about this.
The 28.63 per 100,000, is that additional from what we're paying already?
Correct. It is new tax money.
And what's the amount that we're paying currently?
We currently operate on 2 mills, and I'm not sure what that exact amount is right now.
Right behind you, right here. So the facility that you're planning to build, is that to, talking if you had 800 and you only had 500, was it only to cover those 300? Or are you actually going to build for growth also?
We're building for growth.
So you could take 500, are you going to be able to take 500 plus in the new facility also to have that growth?
So the goal of the new building is to be between 1,200 and 1,300 students.
Okay.
And then the design of the building would be that if we needed to add on, we would be able to add on as quickly as we could.
Right. I just want to know that there's growth already built into it.
Yeah.
So you don't come back again at a later date, as in like next year or the year after.
Yeah. And part of the process with OFCC is they work with a company called Think Forward, and they do enrollment projections. So they've looked at everything and said this is what we would anticipate the enrollment projections needing to be.
Okay. Thank you.
Will building the new building take away from anything you currently have there as far as, I mean, I know you've got things that aren't in the current.
Yeah, it wouldn't eliminate any of the current programs. We would be able to keep the current programs. We're looking to add 3 to 4 new programs. And then actually, it would increase the ability to be able to do some adult ed programs that we currently do not offer. So currently, we don't offer an adult education electrical program, but we would be able to offer that during the day for adults as well.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Sir?
Hi, Mr. King, just a quick couple questions. Let's just say the bond and levy pass, how quickly would you start to build the building?
Yeah, so OFCC process, we would start this summer to begin to get community input. Our goal would be to be in no later than the fall of '27. To take a little bit of time. So if we could get in earlier, we try to get in earlier, but more realistic, probably fall of '27 to open the new building.
And when this new building becomes erected, do we have a competitive advantage over neighboring counties?
We would. So Greene County just, I think it was right before the pandemic or right after, opened a brand new facility. Butler Tech is opening some new facilities. Great Oaks has continued to expand. So it would allow us to be able to take more students and be able to attract, because currently Greene County does not have adult education. And so we would be definitely in a competitive advantage.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. If I could say one other thing unrelated to this, I want to thank Chief and the individuals at Station 23, is that correct? We had a student, I'm trying not to get emotional because it was a really difficult situation. We had a student that had an extremely serious medical issue at school, and thanks to the individuals that responded, we heard that the student may be back to school next week. And that wouldn't be possible if we didn't have amazing first responders all over the place, but certainly here that help that student. And we'll forever be grateful for what you guys were able to do for that student that day. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That concludes our special activities. Item 4, items to be removed from the consent agenda. I have none. Mr. Mearsfall? Item 5 is public comment. No public comment. Item 6, Mr. Corollas.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing for you to, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, I did do that. I went there, got some additional training, learned about new pavement technologies that mine is working with. I am impressed with some of the stuff that we're doing now with pavement tech. It's not what we used to be, even 10 years ago. Very impressed with that. Thank you for reminding me.
Good. Okay, on to new business administration, resolution 5486, a resolution dedicating a portion of Clearcreek Township's share of funds from the American Rescue Plan Act to fund global pandemic hazard pay, bonuses to frontline essential workers, and dispensing with the second reading.
So yes, as part of the collective bargaining process, we did agree to gratification bonuses for each of our 3 units to be paid and to be utilized from funds from the American Rescue Plan. It's based on the eligibility, and it's based on what your health insurance designation is at the time of ratification. For those that are family got 1,000, and those individual were not enrolled plan got 500.
Okay. Any questions about 5486? Do I have a motion to approve 5486?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Cameron?
Yay. We have a recommendation to offer a compressed scheduling option to non-bargaining, non-exempt personnel on a trial basis to be reevaluated in the fall.
Yeah, so this is a little bit avant-garde from the traditional work schedule, hard schedule hours. The way this works, and I tried to demonstrate that, albeit with the calendar and meeting materials. But effectively, what it comes down to is working 4 9-hour days, working an 8-hour Friday, and splitting that pay period at noon on Friday. So the first 40 of the pay period would happen Monday through Thursday in the first 4 hours of Friday. And then the next 40 for the FLSA week would be the last 4 of the Friday shift, and then 4 9s the following week, thereby allowing employees to be off every other Friday. We gauged the interest from our employees. There were some that were interested. I would say more were not interested than were interested. But in the interest of providing some flexibility for folks, in the interest of developing another fringe benefit to try to attract workers, which has proven to be somewhat difficult, as well as, frankly, you could offer longer office hours, Monday through Thursday. You could go an hour extra, either at the front end or the back end, or maybe even split it in half. So there's the opportunity to extend the workday a little bit in the office hours for customer service. So for those reasons, I wanted to bring that forward as a motion and vote to consider and hopefully approve tonight.
Do you have any questions, Steve?
Nope.
Do we have a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Mearsfall?
Yay.
Mr. Cameron?
Yay. We have a recommendation to enter into an employment agreement with Mindy Tischler to continue her role, full-time employment and benefits in a first hybrid then remote role to be reevaluated in the fall.
Yeah, speaking of avant-garde, if you could think of a government employee working remotely, or if it's a local government employee, it's not real well heard of, but if the pandemic taught us anything, it's that we can, in fact, work remotely through the abilities of technologies to communicate electronically, the scans and documents and that sort of thing. Mindy is involved in everything that comes out of this building. She has her hand in stuff that you wouldn't even believe. So to keep her on for a transitional period when hiring an assistant administrator, I think is critically important, just because of the breadth of her her knowledge and her skills and the amount of things that she touches. So when we do fully transition to someone taking on the day-to-day human resource duties, Mindy's going to transition to doing some of the longer-term projects that frankly got put on the back burner. Things like updating some of our occupational medicine protocols, finding a new occupational medicine carrier, hopefully. We can find one that isn't prohibitively expensive. Revising the handbook, revising some of our training schedules, because that stuff, with statutes changing and issues being passed, so too should our training protocols. So that's how I intend to use her going forward. The employment agreement itself is going to be very clear. It's not going to be binding on either party. They can walk away with, 30 days notice. We'll look at it again in the fall, and Mindy is, volunteer herself if she doesn't feel that there's sufficient work to continue the assignment. She would rather go look for another job down in Florida. So I asked for it on a trial basis. We'll try it transitioning from now until September, October, and see where we are. But to keep her on it's too important not to.
And any travel she would make between here and there would be on at her
It
expense.
would be at her expense. Initially she didn't say much about it, but then I pressed her and she said, okay, maybe $1,000 allowance a year or something like that. And I said, well, we can certainly do that as an employee training travel expense within the administrative budget. She does intend to come up and help us with guest coverage, like when she was on planned vacation. She was going to come back and work that week in person.
And when would this be starting?
Pretty much immediately soon. She's scheduled to be out of town in 2 weeks, I think, and she intends to work some of those days when she's out of town, if the board so pleases. Don't make some presumptions.
Mr. Mearsfall,
Sounds like a good idea.
do I have a motion to approve the recommendation for Mindy Social?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recommendation to authorize the township administrator to enter into a facilities electric agreement with an electric generator whose rates are not to exceed 0.0599 kilowatt per hour for all township facilities in the AES service territory.
So first of all, right now, rates as of the late last week were like 5.5 and not 5.9. So hopefully it'll come in a lot less than that. But this is the same idea that we did with the not to exceed for the electric aggregation program. We need to move quickly because the quotes change every single day. So Rich Suris asked me to get permission from the board to execute a contract not to exceed 0.0599. Right now, we are paying about $636 in the Duke territory for our electric, which is below the aggregation rate, but still it's only a couple of bits below it. Same idea, but in the AES territory. So I asked for the board's authorization to be able to move on it quickly, and cross your fingers, it'll be a good rate tomorrow morning when we check it.
He's pretty volatile these days.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay.
Thank you.
Anything else from administration?
Not right now.
On to the roads department, resolution 5487, a resolution authorizing a contract with Warren County Engineers Office for the purchase of road salt and dispensing with the second reading.
So all it is getting a contract with them so we can get some salt.
Seems pretty straightforward. It came down, didn't it?
I don't know yet.
Find out after.
We don't know yet.
Oh, I thought I saw numbers on it.
They want to buy it, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Try that with my customers, my day job, see if that works.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it won't.
Pay you attorney fees.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have to throw that in? Do I have a motion to approve 5487?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay. Police district, anything, chief? Fire district? Really excited for Rich to join us. It's a full circle moment for the fire district as well. Bill has served before it was a full-time district, so really, really neat. Planning and zoning, Mr. Palmer.
Nothing else to see, sir.
We've looked over the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay. Staff updates. Mr. Clark,
Besides what was on the new business agenda, I don't have anything.
did you get anything back from Rumpke?
I requested it from Dean Ferrier, their public services guy, and they haven't got back.
I think we might want to hold their feet to the flame a little bit. They've been dragging their feet long enough. We just experienced another increase, so. When they came in and told us, what was the commitment last year, 30% reduction?
They were first looking at that as when we tried to do the single hauler operation in '22. They gave us a little bit of a break, but that's when fuel prices really surged too, so your diesel surcharges, they ate up any savings that you would have got on the lease rate. But then the agreement, the arrangement, because we really didn't sign anything, it was just an arrangement, that expired on January 1st of this year, so that's probably why you got clobbered.
It was about 10%. I don't know, Steve, if you noticed that or not.
Haven't got my bill yet, so I'll let you know.
Okay. If there are no other updates, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Mearsclaw?
Yay.
Mr. Gabbard?
Yay. Thanks, folks.